Hello, you're watching the news from Kazakhstan. I'm Askar Sheraliyev, and these are the top stories. Former Health Minister Jakselik Doskaliyev is finally giving testimony to the financial police. Famous Russian songwriter Igor Krutoy is working on the opening composition for the Asian Winter Games despite the already approved anthem. The former Kazakh health minister Jakselik Doskaliyev gave his first testimony on Monday. The lawyer of the ex-official Eduard Shumpiyev said the investigators questioned Doskaliyev about an episode related to the First Aid Research Institute. In late September, a criminal case was instigated against the former health minister Jakselik Doskaliyev, who was accused of corruption crimes and abuse of power. According to his lawyer, during Monday's interrogation, the former head of the health department gave reasonable answers that completely refute the arguments of the preliminary investigation. Interestingly, after the testimony, the investigator didn't have any questions, which in turn alerted the defenders of the ex-minister. After the interrogation, Doskaliyev asked the investigators to spend no more than 3 hours on interrogations due to his poor health condition. Those arguments brought by Doskaliyev in his defense are justified and reveal the whole picture and prove his innocence. The investigator left without any questions. The Office of the Kazakh Prosecutor General reported today it never received inquiries from Swiss law enforcement confirming the investigation of the criminal case against Timur Kulibayev. The information was revealed during a briefing in Astana by Jandos Umiraliyev, the prosecutor's official spokesman, reacting to the information in foreign press in relation to the investigation against Kulibayev launched by Swiss judicial authorities. The Office of Kazakhstan's Prosecutor General officially said it never received any letters of inquiries from Switzerland in relation to the criminal case against the president's son-in-law Timur Kulibayev. All facts reported in the inquiry underwent an earlier pre-investigation check by the financial police, which led to the decision to dismiss the case due to the lack of crime components and the actions of Kulibayev and others involved. The inquiry has no new evidence or arguments. Thus, there are no grounds for recalling the prior decision and launching a new pre-investigation check using previously studied materials. At the same time, Swiss lawyers say the alleged crime was committed in Switzerland and the support of Kazakh prosecutors is not likely required at all, especially since foreign observers doubt Kazakhstan is ready for cooperation like this. This much was revealed earlier in the month by Bruno de Preux, who represents Kazakh citizens seeking to sue President Nazarbayev's son-in-law and a number of other people for laundering $600 million. I know that the witnesses were already interrogated and the prosecution side has a right to call Mr. Kulibayev and all the participants of the process to Switzerland and interrogate them. Switzerland might ask the assistance of Kazakhstan, but I'm afraid that this is going to be hard to do so. The fact that a person has a reputation, finances or kinship with the members of the government doesn't exclude the possibility that the Swiss authorities will conduct a court hearing in Switzerland. New information was reported last week by a Swiss TV channel TCR. The $600 million in question were placed on the USB and Credit Suisse accounts and can be traced back to Singapore. In March of this year, the ex-head of the BTA bank Mukhtar Ablazov already initiated one inspection, submitting numerous documents purportedly providing Kulibayev's money laundering practices. The financial police, however, suspended the investigation back then, citing the lack of crime components. This week, the Prosecutor General reiterated there is no evidence against Kulibayev. In the meantime, one of the US cables recently released by WikiLeaks indirectly proved Ablazov's accusations of Kulibayev accepting money in bribes and profits from the fraudulent sale of oil and gas assets belonging to Kazakhstan. The matter was discussed by the US Ambassador Richard Holland and the former Kazmunaygas Vice President Maksat Idenov. Rumor has it Kulibayev loves big bribes. Idenov claims he told Kulibayev to watch out for his image and reputation, as he has a real chance to improve his image and the image of the nation. Kazakh population has already commented the ambiguous situation with the alleged crimes of Nazarbayev's son-in-law Timur Kulibayev. Many agree he now faces serious trouble and nothing will prevent a Timur Gate. I don't believe the will of Kazakhstan, Astana, top administration or Timur Kulibayev's family and other persons involved can prevent the development of this case. That is why it doesn't matter if someone wants to close the case or push it into some new direction. The Swiss Prosecutor General will still carry on with the investigation. A trial against businesswoman Meizgul Abdukashimova, who publicly accused the financial police of extortion, is launched in Almaty. The mother of two is charged with bribing an official and smuggling, which can lead to a sentence of up to 12 years of imprisonment. Abdukazhimova refutes all accusations, saying she is punished by the financial police agents for refusing to cooperate with their criminal group, which controls the customs checkpoint Kalzhat.
You say I am a smuggler and a briber, but you didn't even ask me how I gave a bribe. No one from the prosecution office had a conversation with me. How can I trust you? I file an objection around the entire city of Almaty. I do not trust. The trial began with a defense motion challenging the entire constitution of the Almaty City Prosecution Office as a prosecution site. After a 2-hour-long counsel, the court maintained the motion unsatisfied. The challenge of the constitution of the City Prosecution Office is not provided by the procedural code. Receiving the refusal over the first motion, the defense made several other motions to conduct additional investigation. 7 volumes of Abdukazhimova's case are full of discrepancies and inaccuracies. The defense has also asked to change the measure of restraint, as already 2 months ago, the district court ruled that Abdukazhimova is contained in the detention facility illegally. The court promised to make decisions over the new motions on Tuesday. Entrepreneur Kanagata Kieva, who publicly criticized the officials of the customs checkpoint Khorgos on the Kazakh-Chinese border, came to support Meizgul Abdukazhimova during the trial. The case with the customs checkpoint and this case proves that this is not the only case. Both cases should not be ignored because it is impossible that 2 similar cases emerge at the same time. Kazakh authorities introduced religious limitations in prisons. The Justice Ministry made a number of changes in the internal regulations of local penitentiaries, fearing the possible spread of banned teachings among inmates. With the new rules in place, only representatives of traditional religions registered in Kazakhstan can visit prisons. Civil rights advocates call this a violation of constitutional rights. From now on, Kazakh inmates are allowed to practice only traditional and registered religions. The promotion of other religious ideas is banned after the Justice Ministry introduced amendments to the prison's internal regulations. The intensification of mass riots and escape attempts in the last year forced officials to take these measures. Now clergy have to pre-approve their visitation schedules, topics and rights terms with the prison administration. The Justice Ministry had to do this since there appeared many questionable religious organizations lately. Many of them are banned in Kazakhstan, hence the introduction of amendments in our internal regulations is foremost due to the increased security measures. Prison administrations believe the measures could be the consequences of a daring escape from the Aktau prison this June. 21 inmates broke out of the facility, 5 were later caught and 16 killed during the subsequent standoff. The matter received wide international publicity and it was revealed all escaped inmates were part of the group which practiced banned Islamic movement, with some of them convicted for terrorism. However, despite the attempts of authorities to protect inmates, civil rights advocates expressed indignation with new limitations of the religious freedoms rights. Apparently, the changes were never discussed with them or during public councils. This requirement is a grave violation of the Constitution's 39th article, but mostly it contradicts the meaning and spirit of the 18th article and international rights. Our legislation doesn't correspond to our international obligations or even Constitution in any way. Nina Alfokina believes the inmates' freedom of choice of religion is violated just like the rights of non-traditional religious groups. Back in March, the Geneva Human Rights Committee criticized Kazakhstan for making changes in the legislation dealing with the compulsory registration of religious organizations. The reaction to these restrictions by other denominations' representatives is yet to follow. In the meantime, only Islam and Russian Orthodoxy were confirmed as approved in Kazakh prisons so far. On Monday, activists of unregistered party Alga collected signatures in support of their leader Vladimir Kozlov. This was part of a number of planned actions against the repression of civil and political rights and freedoms in Kazakhstan, say party members. The Alga party members in Almaty brought letters of request to picket the Nuratan ruling party offices. On December 23rd, they intend to protest against the charges pressed on Vladimir Kozlov over tax evasion, considering them as politically motivated. The activists are not expecting any signs of justice from the law enforcement agencies. They fear that they have been given an order to imprison Kozlov. The members of the Public Committee on Kozlov's Protection explained that the article over which Kozlov was charged provides for up to 2 years of imprisonment.
Я хочу сказать, что это все дело сфальсифицировано специально.
I want to say that this entire case is fabricated on purpose. It is a political persecution to defame Vladimir Kozlov. The party exists for already 8 years as unregistered, and this action of the authorities is aimed at humiliating our political party.
In Semey, Alga activists entered the central square to support Vladimir Kozlov. This time they didn't use loudspeakers and posters to avoid arrests like it happened several times in the past. The biggest problem on Monday was the weather, with the outside temperature reaching -25 Celsius.
Within an hour after the creation of the Public Committee on Kozlov's protection, 7 people have expressed their wish to join it. I believe there will be more people like that because those who know the integrity of Vladimir Kozlov will not believe in any fabricated criminal cases.
Isinbek Uktishbayev, the leader of the movement Leave Housing to People, was arrested for 15 days on Monday. Back on December 16th, he took part in the rally next to the Almaty city administration and handed the mayor a petition signed by frustrated city residents. Movement activist Gulzira Kerimkulova was outraged by the verdict, which led to the court fining her for contempt on the spot.
What, are you kidding me? For these words uttered in court, the prosecution demanded to fine the activist of the Leave Housing to People movement Gulzira Kerimkulova for $200. The court also considered the exclamation as disrespect but rejected the proposal of the prosecution side. Bearing in mind the exclamation and the personality of Kerimkulova, the court decided to recognize Gulzira Kerimkulova guilty according to Article 513 and limit to warning. Kerimkulova made her exclamation on December 19th while reacting to the verdict of the court to the chairman of the Leave Housing to People movement, Isinbek Uktishbayev, who was given 15 days of administrative arrest for an unsanctioned picket near the Almaty city administration, demanding the dismissal of the Almaty deputy mayor Sirik Seydumanov. He was imprisoned for 15 days over our demands made on December 16th to dismiss Seydumanov for his insults towards people of our country that he makes since summer, including his interview in the newspaper Vremya, where he says that the second generation of villagers is a threat to city residents. This is an insult of an entire nation. We're filing parallel lawsuits against him. Seydumanov himself disagrees with the accusations and says that the Leave Housing to People movement is a marginal group with excessive behavior. Nothing personal, but if they will continue to spread lies and slander, I will file lawsuits against both Kurmanov and Uktishbayev, and they will be subjected to criminal liability. Isinbek Uktishbayev, who is under administrative arrest, will celebrate the new year behind the bars. 15 days of arrest term will end on January 3rd, 2011.
Moscow's 9th Arbitration Appeals Court dismissed the complaint of the K-Plus television company about the actions of Roskomnadzor, the Russian state regulator which revoked the station's cable broadcasting license. The measure was taken on the grounds of warning about the company's alleged violations. The decision surprised lawyers and experts since last August Moscow's appeals court already recognized Roskomnadzor's claims unfounded.
Roskomnadzor's violation warning was issued illegally and K-Plus's license must be returned. This decision was made by the Moscow's appeals court back in August. The former editor of the magazine Kabelshik, Yana Belskaya, recalls that she was happy to publish articles about this unique case when an independent channel, practically for the first time ever, managed to prove in court the illegality of state regulators' actions. K-Plus was asked for a separate IPTV broadcast license, even though it doesn't exist yet. The state has yet to make any decision on the matter, and unless politics is involved, Roskomnadzor usually makes concessions or gives implicit instructions. Unfortunately, the channel ended up in a jam. They found a reason and a chance to get the channel. It is not clear why Roskomnadzor was not satisfied by the resolution, which led to a surprising decision of the Moscow's 9th Arbitration Appeals Court to ignore the prior ruling. Many believe it is fairly obvious Roskomnadzor violates the law and even its own internal regulations. Roskomnadzor presented documents about some conclusions regarding violations, but they submitted no papers explaining how they came up with these conclusions, documents and evidence. That is why we believe the first court made the right decision when it said Roskomnadzor failed to prove it acted within the law. The decision looks especially questionable in views of news coming from Roskomnadzor itself. Next week, the organization's head Sergei Sitnikov will sign a decree which basically legalizes the IPTV broadcasting without any additional licenses. This places K-Plus prosecution back in the spotlight of Russian media. There is at least one known case when Roskomnadzor annulled the cable broadcasting license of a Kazakh satellite channel K+ for distributing signal within IPTV networks. The broadcaster tried to register these networks in its license supplement, but was denied due to the lack of broadcasting frequencies in the application. K+ is a Russian media, but its focus on the news in Kazakhstan and Central Asia could play the major role for making the last court decision. Just recently, Kazakh authorities openly said they are not content with the channel's objective and independent policies.
Можно посмотреть, знаете, какой канал?
While staying in a hotel abroad, you can watch K+. It is not clear who founded this channel, but it broadcasts a very different, negative coverage of all process happening in our country.
Освещение всех процессов, которые происходят в нашей стране.
Process in Russia develop independently of desires of Kazakh authorities. Roskomnadzor will soon deal with the licensing issue. However, some questions remain unanswered. For instance, why the only victim of confusion within Russian legislation was K+, and why the scales of Russian justice appeared to be unfair.
The new composition, which will be performed at the opening ceremony of the Asian Winter Games on January 30th, is rehearsed in Astana. The lyrics were written by a Kazakh citizen Ulukbek Izdauletov and the music by famous Russian pop composer Igor Krutoy. The appearance of the song after the completion of the competition for the game's anthem raised numerous questions. The contest winner, Iskander Hasangaliyev, is confused with the organization committee's double standards, although he is still confident it will be his composition that will open the games.
The song of the Russian showbiz tycoon Igor Krutoy and poet Ulukbek Izdauletov Zhulduzdar, the Stars, will open the 7th Asian Winter Games in 2011. Officials decided to secure themselves in case if no worthy anthem of Asian Games will be presented. I was asked by Astana officials not to talk about the issue with the mass media. I was asked to write the lyrics to the music composed by Igor Krutoy, and currently I have lyrics for 4 songs, and all of them will be played during the opening of the Asian Games. The Moscow public already had a chance to evaluate the anthem during the Song of the Year show, where Roza Rymbayeva and Batyrkhan Shukenov presented the composition. The director of the Almaty Executive Committee of Asian Winter Games, Nurlan Nurtazin, was forced to admit that the song of Krutoy is sort of a reserve of the organizers. Now it will fall into the rotation separately from the anthem. First we were told that the song is ready, but Krutoy said that it is not, and we organized a contest. But now we have a contest winner whose song will represent the anthem, while Krutoy's song will be played during the ceremony along with others. The winner of the contest, Iskander Hasangaliyev, is confident that his song will be played during the opening and the closing of the Winter Asian Games, because people voted for him and his song, and not Igor Krutoy. Igor, what is his name? Krutoy was probably ordered to write a song, but I'm not sure. But we participated in the official contest. Officials of the organizing committee of Asian Winter Games had no answer on why they conducted double selection. Primarily, it is still unclear from their answers which song will open the 7th Asian Winter Games. But one thing is clear, as in Astana, the dance bands are already rehearsing the ceremony to music of Krutoy.
Sad news at the end of a bulletin. Well-known artist and public activist Kudaybergen Sultanbayev passed away in Almaty at the age of 64. The audience cherished Sultanbayev's satirical characters created for the popular comedy show Tamasha. For the last 30 years, it traveled with performances all across the country.
Sultanbayev was actively involved in social life, held the position of an MP and awarded with Kurmet Order. The farewell with the national artist will be held on December 21st in the lobby of Mukhtar Awezov Academic Drama Theatre. Many still recall his words said while he was an MP, "In our parliament, everyone is an artist. I'm the only professional." People loved him for his satirical exposures and special artistry. Our editorial staff expresses condolences to the relatives and friends of Kudaybergen Sultanbayev.
This is it for now. Join us tomorrow for more. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.